Hey, what up, y'all? It's your girl Ashley. I'll be balling with another I'll be balling basketball show. So today we're going to review the new Netflix show Forever, right? And it's about two black teens in LA and they reconnect and do a lot of firsts together, fall in love, and it has so many themes in the movie, and I saw it twice because it was that good. But before we dive into this recap, I want to introduce the one, the only William.
What up? What up? What up?
Tell us about your channel, Road to William, and how it's a one stop shop with so many, interviews and knowledge and laughter, and it's a world of entertainment.
Yeah, head over to my channel, Road to William. Um, I be diving into different movie reviews and interviews, and interviews coming up soon, so stay tuned for that. I'm dropping a video every day till my birthday. So be on the lookout for videos on the daily. But yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, dropping daily. Dropping them bombs, dropping them gems. Y'all already know. Visit Road to William. And make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. And tell us, if you've seen this, show forever, what was your favorite takeaway, favorite part? But what I like to do with my recaps is if you could describe this show in one word, what would it be? And I know it's pretty tough because I feel like there's so many things, to how there's so many words to describe this, but I feel like mine's would be growth because both of the characters, Justin and Keisha, this it's takes place in 2017 and then it works its way up from there. And I feel like they both grew together, and I feel like it definitely took a village. It definitely took the help of their parents and friends and family. And so I think they had to, you know, it's a coming of age story. So I feel like they both had to grow and find themselves, what matters to them, and of course, experience love. What would your word be, or phrase, or maybe it's a couple words?
Definitely love and family. Big
Okay, okay.
takeaways from this series because a lot of lessons with both.
Definitely, definitely. So this is um Forever is basically a modern take on the book by Judy Blume, Forever, and the creator of it created a lot of black shows like The Game and what everyone knows, Girlfriends, and Being Mary Jane, and her name is, I might pronounce this wrong, you know, Mara Brock Akil. I hope I pronounced that name right. But she's the creator and producer, and even Regina King was directing and producing on the show. And I feel like it has so many themes to it. And, it has family, love, parenting. It has trauma, it has healing, it has, a lot of first, um, heartache, first, love. But it dealt with race and, it also dealt with, different classes because I feel like both of the characters, Justin and Keisha, they were a lot alike, but they did come from different backgrounds. Like Keisha, her mom was working multiple jobs, to make ends meet, whereas Justin's family was like middle class, two parent household. And I feel like
Mhm.
I like that it showed like similarities but also differences. But who was your favorite character? Did you have a favorite character from the show?
Oh, there's probably the dad.
Okay. The dad is played by Wood Harris, and everybody knows him.
Mm-hmm.
He's been in so many things like Paid in Full.
Mm-hmm.
Why would his name was Eric? Why was he your favorite character?
Just what it looks to being a father, being a parent, and it's like a refreshing take on what it's like of a father, that we've seen in film. So yeah, different take, different route. But he gave you a lot of lessons. I felt like his role was like he told you straight out like the rules of the game, before you go out. Like people they're, they're human just like us. Just protect yourself while you're out there. Look for these signals, be safe. Like that one scene where the cops was like turn the lights on, but they really wasn't after him. They was just trolling. That happens a lot of times. Sometimes they don't even. There's been times where cops will just follow me and they'll just turn off. And I think it's just a way to just keep tabs on people as scare tactics sometimes, intimidate. Because sometimes you can't do too much. Sometimes they just waiting for somebody to do something like what you nervous for. But that is a real shot, a real um take, relatable take when he was like, because that happens a lot. But yeah, the father definitely, because everybody else got on my nerves, even the main character. But but um but yeah, father probably.
Um, I don't know if I have a favorite character. I definitely loved Wood Harrison's character Eric because he was almost like cool dad. He was a good cop. And I feel like Justin's mom was like the strict one, the helicopter mom. Because my mom was a helicopter mom. Well, is a helicopter mom. And so when my mom was watching the show, she was like, "Yeah, I relate to the mother. Her name is Dawn, played by Karen Pittman, and oh, the stars
I
of
really
the
liked her
show.
acting. Her acting is amazing.
Yeah, I loved everyone's acting. Everybody um did an amazing job. Like they know how to pick the great cast. Justin is played by Michael Cooper Jr. and Keisha is played by I might pronounce this wrong. Lovey Simone, and a lot of people know her from Greenleaf. Um, she plays a lot of like high school characters, even though she's 26. So I just say, like, don't crack, y'all. Gotta get what you can get, right? But I don't think I have a favorite character. I just have like favorite moments of each character. I feel like so I don't really have a favorite character. It's like, but each moment there was different moments that I liked about each character. Like I love that the mom Karen. I mean Dawn. She was very
Mhm.
overprotective, and I loved how like they showed their different parenting styles. Because Eric was like, you know, giving him lessons on how to, if a cop approach you, what to do. Here's the condoms, and uh, showing you how to put them on. But he's like, yeah, you could go to this party, but mom was like, you know, I need this information and do this and do that. Be on your studies, be on your basketball. And so I like the two different parenting styles. So, do you have like a favorite scene out of the whole show or favorite episode?
Oh, so many good shots. Oh, and just watching them fall in love, even the heartbreak. I will say Dawn she is a OG mama. I kept saying that out loud. It was so funny watching that because she was like, "No, I'm still hurt for my kid." Even if he did move on, even if y'all did make things work, but if only we saw, which we probably will see in more seasons to come, but like the relationship she's built with Eric and Dawn's relationship, because ain't no way I've been together that long and haven't been through any hardships. And even like the route that she credited the father, Eric, like, yeah, he's talented. He has used his talents to make a way, and now she's like, but it's my degree, it's my this and that. And it's like, whoa, like that pushed us up this hill. That was remarkable because a lot of times I was getting mad at like both sides. I'm like, they both making good points. Like a side note from when Keisha and her mom, it was like, oh, I get why she feel like, oh, we gotta do something. But then like this was before therapy. And that's how I have to keep her in my head. Before therapy and after therapy is two different things, okay? Because she was pissing me off before therapy. And so, um, but it was so crazy how another good shot I liked was the comparisons of how they handled the situations was highly the same. Like when Justin told his parents, like, oh, I want to do this. I want to pursue music. Um, like my way, not like, oh, and have something as a background. Like, I don't know, I forgot where I heard this from. Maybe she said it in a stand-up once, but Monique has said something like, always have a plan A, never a plan B. And I feel like that's what he was saying to his mom, like, this is, I don't want no backup plan. Like, this is what I know I want to do. And it was this her anger and the father's disappointment was the same equivalent to Keisha's mom being upset at her about telling her about the video and the disappointment that, oh, and you're dating somebody like Justin when you could be, it was just this. I felt like it was the same. What about you?
Yeah, I feel like it's tough talking to parents and they needed to communicate to their parents. I think communication played a big part in like, the teen's relationship and the texting and social media, blocking and, phone calls. But yeah, I think we will see more of like each of the parents, relationship because as far as like with Don and Eric, you know, they come from a place of looking out. I did like Dawn. I really did. But she did make me mad because she was like getting mad at like Keisha. And I'm like, dude, she's just a teenager, you know? And
Right.
she's like, the scene where they're at Martha's Vineyard and I would be just like all the parents around when he saw that they still were together and stuff. And, you know, and all the
Hmm.
parents was like looking at Don like, oh, you don't like her and stuff. And the guys were just like laughing and joking. I think that's how I would be because I just want to say, hey, just enjoy the ride, you know. Eric was kind of like carefree, and Don was like, no, she hurt my baby, and now they're back together, and you want to do this, and over a girl who broke your heart. And Eric, father, is just like, heartache is gonna come. It sucks, but that's life, you know. And so, but also as far as Keisha and her mom, yo, let's get these names. So I loved Keisha's family. I loved it. I loved the grandpa, you know, loved the grandpa
Yeah.
because grandpa was like the baseball coach, but I like that. He was with her training as well and still trying to get in her business too, Grandpa George. And her mother, I can't find her name, but Oh, her name was Shelly, and so so the thing about Shelly is it was almost like it was a big buildup when she, told her mom because it was actually a couple. I feel like it could have been like months before she told her mom. So it was like this constant buildup and trying to like navigate, you know, keeping up lies and stuff just for her mom and stuff. But I feel like Shelly, when when Keisha did talk to tell Shelly the news about the tape, she definitely reacted very explosive, and I was like, why are you doing this? Because if you explode on her, then she's never gonna tell you anything else. But I think after she did have therapy and calmed down, she asked her, Keisha more questions and they could communicate in a good, calm manner. Because you know, Keisha was like, "This is how I felt," and you know, um, but yeah, Shelly was pissed because you have to remember she switched schools. She got out of a scholarship, you know, and I do feel like someone has to pay because the guys don't get in trouble.
Oh, how did you? Well, it's funny you say that. I was thinking two questions. One, how did you feel about the few shots they had with the basketball scenes, but also with the guys never get caught or guys never get repercussions? How did you feel about the reference to Kobe, where we know that he had scrutiny in his career and things he had to address publicly? And like, how did that affect basketball and how people interacted with basketball up and coming stars? Like, they were like, "Oh, he's the next Kobe." They referenced the guy, Boykins. Oh, and then I'm like, dang, I felt like, dang, some of them shots, I was like, yeah, he is good. But it was funny how like they were centering basketball, and I'm like, I feel like even when he was they were pushing, that's what his thing was. I was like, I feel like he don't like it. But when I kept watching it, I was like, oh, he don't like this. And you can tell when somebody like really wants it and somebody who don't. Like it's funny like that Kevin Durant or not the Wanda Durant story where it was a scene where they were like she introduced them to like what it was the YMCA or something and they had basketball there and they both picked him and his brother Kevin and his brother both picked up a basketball, but they went two different routes. And so I feel like that was a good thought. But what did you think about the shots and the Kobe references and how that all affects basketball? Because
Well,
she was trying to go after because first you're like, oh, you're just trying to go after the video, but then she's seeing something bigger like, oh, he's gonna be getting these perks. He's gonna be getting money. He gonna have to pay some type of way. How do you feel about that?
Well, I think Shelly just wanted, because like she picked up another job, she's paying for this school, this top track school, when you already had a scholarship. So now you costing, a ton of money for your mom. And her mom was kind of, to see why like Keisha was a little nervous to tell her mom, because her mom was always like, don't get pregnant, and she tries to be an A student, and then the mom is buying expensive prom dress, and it's like, but as far as that, I feel like Shelly, she could have been after the money, you know, but she also could have been like, you want someone to pay. Well, I do. You have the repercussions because you're a female and he's a male and he's like a popular, um, he's referenced as the next LeBron, the next Kobe. And she, she is ranked, but track if you notice, track doesn't get as much attention as basketball. So you want someone to pay for all the emotional distress and
It only gets
embarrassment, and
attention. It only gets attention when it's some impacting something in their eyes negative, like Shakari. What's her name? What's her name?
Sha-
Shakari.
yeah, Shakara Richardson.
Yeah, like that's when I'm gonna be honest, when I started really tweaking back in. Unless it's really like something big happening, I'm really like, what's going on? But they only highlight stuff when it's like negative.
Yeah. As far as the basketball scenes, I did like the basketball scenes. You can kind of tell the difference between Justin and Christian. Christian had a lot of muscles, he was training hard, and I feel like the only time you saw Justin really train for basketball was when he was like feeling good about Keisha, you know. Let me do this homework so I can see Keisha. And if you notice, Keisha, she was focused. She was the best at track. She woke up at 4:30 in the morning to train for track. You don't see Justin training 4:30 in the morning. And so there was clearly a difference. And I don't know why his parents didn't see that. Like, your son isn't really out there training. Like, he had a great 3-point shot in that game when he was like, no, I'm just checking in myself. That was what he needed to do, but on a consistent basis. And you can't just have a 3-point shot. You got to do more, just like the coach said. Also, is the coach really giving you that opportunity? I feel like, why are you guys waiting for him to get a scholarship when he's not even playing? If you're not even playing, you're really not going to get a scholarship. So why is he
And
at
y'all
that
have
school?
the money to go wherever he wants. If he want to go to Berkeley, let him. Why are y'all like, oh no, you need a scholarship, your grades? Okay, there's more resources on campus, especially the one if he's more in tune with what he wants to do and like, it's gonna be easier for him to like grasp things. But if he's not in the right environment, it's not gonna matter because he's not gonna be connected to it. That's why we kept seeing throughout the series, he kept getting distracted. We kept seeing like glimpses of Keisha every once in a while because like he's not focused. And that's why I liked how, even though her dad, Keisha's dad, was annoying, he did kind of point out an obvious, and she didn't want to hear it. But sometimes you don't want to hear the truth. But he was being honest, like he could be like distracting himself with love, but like, um, I think at some point he had to realize that you do because it's like he did, but we don't want to give too much away because we want people to see it. But
Yeah.
it's I like the way they did. I also loved how this is just something happy. Like it's black people. Yeah, it's hardship. Yeah, it's up to it's life, which they pointed that out too. It was a good quote from Eric once again. Go. But it was just so many shots, so many scenes of laughter and people being happy. That was like, oh wow, I forgot we can. Yeah,
Yes.
we can show that. So
We
it was
need
fun.
more
I
black
like that.
shows like this.
Yeah.
Not everything needs to be violence and blood and kill, and there's happy relationships, happy marriages, happy
Because
parenting.
it affects you to an extent. Like if you just keep watching, and they showed that on the Boondocks once. I don't know if y'all remember that episode. Put in the comments, but I forgot what episode it was. But after you watch so many, like even the news, if you watch something so negative so much, it can affect your membrane for
So,
real.
what was your biggest takeaway? Because I feel like they covered so much. They covered, you know, being the only black person at your school, like because they went to like white schools, and then but eventually Keisha did transfer to like a black school. So and she had a white friend too, Chloe. Chloe had some funny. She was funny too. She was a real friend to Keisha. Kept it real, but there were so many things and themes like communication. You know, like parents wanted communication, but also communication in Keisha and Justin's relationship was like kind of shaky. The ghosting and the punishment. but it was so many themes. What was like the biggest takeaway?
Um, I think the
It's,
biggest takeaway is like being a leader in your life, taking control of your life. That's what everybody's quest is. Um, and that you find somebody who's also going on their quest and you guys do it together. Sometimes this quest isn't as picture perfect as you may have thought it might be, but um, I feel like as long as they are pursuing that pursuit is more important than like what it really looks like. So I'm really glad that season two is coming. This is pretty fire, I think. But yeah, take control of your life, being honest, integrity. I saw a big one. Like even when uh that conversation, they had many conversations, but the one between Dawn and Justin, and she was like, they was talking about Keisha's video, and she was like, "You wasn't sending that video around, was you?" And just question, making sure like, um, he wasn't one of those kids who were gonna like be a part of that bystander behavior and that, um, and but he showed them more times than one that he knew, like maybe he didn't get the best grades, but like when it came to like real life skills, he understood like emotion. I feel like he was emotionally mature just with him being a guy, a teenager in high school where he could just easily join the crowd. He stood out just by him recognizing that Keisha was going through something and that she needed support more than anything, and she didn't have that. But great series.
yeah, because like the mom said, that she didn't want to fail Keisha because even though she started to not like Keisha, she was like, "Yo, this you need to tell your mom or I will," because she was like that village let her down because like um even I think even a white teacher knew about this age video, so why didn't no one do anything about it at that white school? And they
It
should
was
have did
about the
something.
money. It was about the class, like you mentioned earlier. Like, oh, if I wasn't in this same class as y'all, I wouldn't have gotten privy to that. Y'all were talking about her. And you think it's so okay to just talk about a kid because it feels like when she made a mistake, she was no longer a kid. Oh, you trying to do grown things, then they basically stripped her own childhood away from her by allowing anyone to talk about that situation without it being a blame pointed at the people who spread the video, laughed at it. It just goes to show like they mock the victims even to this day. But they basically they basically took away her childhood, but they rescued Dawn, rescued um equivalent. Like when she went into had that conversation on the phone is important. And that's really what it takes. It's just a conversation between people that like really build the tree foundation you want.
Yeah, so many lessons to take from this about love and heartache and family and parenting and even with sports. I feel like she, as far as track, she knew what she wanted versus Justin. He didn't really know what he wanted until, and I think the parents was mad because it was like, I want to do music, but it was sort of like last minute and they was working on a plan. But, you know, I also was like, yeah, he's a lost kid, just like his father said, but I feel like, well, he's 18, he has a lot to learn and discover. So, let's not be too hard on him, you know.
The
But
mom, Dawn reminded me so much of like, remember the cookout and the mom wanted him to be a basketball star. He's like, I want to be a doctor. Like, that's what it kept reminding me of. I was like, he don't even want to play ball for real.
like he can play ball, but like his heart and soul and mind isn't in it. And I think when you go to the next level college, you need to be on the ball. And I feel like she was like focused, even like the school she wanted. It was always Howard, Howard, Howard. And it was always like they were training with some Nike dude, and the Nike dude was like, you could go to a bigger school. But she's like, she knows what she wants. She doesn't want to go to a big school. She wants to go to a smaller school where they can treat her like a star versus going to a top program where she got to fight for her spot and all that. So she knew like what she wanted. She was more like focused. I feel like they both helped each other because I feel like Keisha was helping him go after what he really wanted and tell his parents, and I feel like Justin helped her with the sex tape and telling her mom and stuff like that. But yeah, there's so many lessons. Oh my goodness. And I just and the family and oh, Keisha's cousins, oh, they was cracking me up. Keisha's cousins was cracking me up. I love the dad. He was like he wasn't there all the time, but you could tell he was a cool dad. And he's from a lot of stuff too. But yeah, there's so many themes and lessons to take from this. I even watched it twice because I was just obsessed with it. Because I was like, we need more like this. I feel like this can become a classic because we need because like similar to like she made girlfriends. That's a classic. You know, Parker's is a classic. Fresh Prince, Jimmy Fox, the Warner Brothers. You know, we need more black sitcoms like this. Well, it's not a sitcom, but even drama series. We need more like this 101. I could go on and on and on. Oh, this is what I learned about Kill, the creator, right? He first got her start on guess what? She was writing for these two shows, Jamie Foxx show and Moesha. I was like, what? That's where she got her first start? Okay. And
Definitely impacted the culture with those shows.
yeah,
Definitely.
and that maybe that's why I liked it. And like you said, there was like so much blackness, but also even when they went to Martha's Vineyard, my mom was like, "Why are the black people all the way over here, and then the white people are over here?"
What didn't
And
it
it's
give
like,
like Inkwell a little bit?
oh
Like Oak
yeah,
Bluff
yeah,
was like that Inkwell where it was like, oh, this where everybody kick it. And I was looking for some white people. I was like, the only white person I saw was like Chloe and her family. But they were so blended in, like it wasn't no big. They was like, look, have some food, because that's what black people do. Like we are like this nurturing spirit by nature. We do like we. It's only media and society, like whatever they try putting out there for people to intake. That's why people say you got to watch what media you intake too, because it could be just a distraction or a way to separate. And I feel like originally we just like to help each other, and that's really what it's about. And so they did a really good job. Also, Keisha's grandfather usually pisses me off in films, but he didn't piss me off in this. And I was like, all right,
his name is Barry Chuckaba Henley, and
yes,
he
he usually
played
pisses me off,
George. Yeah,
but he was really good.
yeah. I feel like every character had like something you liked about them, and
Yes.
maybe something you disliked about them.
Even the producer, he was like my little sous chef. And they was cooking up them beats. And they paid a homage to Nipsey Hussle, a late LA legend who like walking around in the streets, if you in the know, people are like, no, he was really like that. People who met him, people have told me like, no, he was really like about community and about um being in the mix, you know. And so he really did have an impact, especially within the culture and music. So I think, oh, and I liked how Keisha was always kind of like around. Like she didn't let up. She didn't let up. And even when he was in the studio, I forgot the producer's name, but and I don't know if they're trying to like incorporate a real DJ or they're just making this DJ up. I couldn't tell because he never really gave him his name, dude. You don't know. Maybe they do. I don't know. But um I think it was just kind of meant just like them meeting Keisha and Justin. It was meant and then like in some crazy way, who knew she didn't really know he liked music like that for it to be like, oh, and then sometimes it's stuff just aligns and so I thought that was dope. But she was like looking in the window. It's like, yeah. But
Yeah,
yeah, those moments where she was like waiting for a text back and he was on punishment, I was like, oh.
yeah,
But I like it was
yeah,
like that and he wasn't. Oh, I also like that he had an opportunity to have a another like first time with a girl. That could have I saw that route and I'm like that could have been messy too because that's like a more childhood friend, like the friend of the family, like. And she was kind of like, well, she kind of showed him like, yeah, you can have sex for just love, but then there are people who do it just because they want to express themselves. They like it, blah, blah, blah. And so I like that they didn't go that route in that he saved himself for Keisha. Because wouldn't that have been a mess if he would have hit her and her? I'm like, now that's messy. Okay, that's too much.
yeah,
But I liked how it was like, no, if you just it's all about patience and that allowing space for people to grow, you know, because you're still learning yourself. But he wasn't on that journey yet. He didn't even know nothing about that. He thought he was on this track of like, oh, I need to do this, do that, trying to check this box. And it was so sad to see like it was funny when like when he got in, but he was mad that he got in low key. And she was like, here's your balloons, but I feel sad that you got it.
yeah.
And so I also want to see where they go with that Chloe character. Because Justin's friend, what's his name? He was pissing me off, man. I was like, bro.
Darius.
He came around at the end when he started to notice it was serious. But I think at first he didn't take their relationship serious because he was like, oh, he's still in that group of, oh, she just like all the others, or she this, she that. He had put a label on her. So it took him some time to kind of come around. But I also like that they showed Chloe and Keisha's friendship and what friends do and talk about, you know, in that one of my favorite scenes, and I'll let you to it, but one of my favorite shots was Keisha and her dad. After he gave her that, they had a discussion, they talked, they just was like silly together and kicking it. So that was probably one of my favorite scenes. All the scenes where they were showing different ways of parenting was it was tough at times to watch, but I'm glad they put it out there to start a conversation and gear it in a direction of like we should leave a lot of this stuff behind because it's not helping us, but we should pick up things like therapy. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of effective communication going on up in here. Just how they dove deeper into different topics. I love that. So yeah, definitely gotta keep pushing this, you know.
Yeah. Everyone needs a village. Even Keisha's mom and Justin's mom, when they spoke on the phone, I feel like Keisha's mom, felt, like she had a friend and confidant, to help her with Keisha's situation. And she even mentioned therapy. I think they both could relate. And I definitely liked all the stuff when they was water fighting the water guns when both families like came together. That was cool. And all the times when Keisha was with Justin's family and stuff. I definitely do. If you mentioned Darius, I think they were showing a lot of contrast and because some guys are like Justin. Like he showed a lot of vulnerability, emotional. He was crying a lot, and even the actor was like, "He gotta cry again." But you, I think it was good that they showed someone that wanted to be in love and you were the first with the girl you're in love with. Just but he wasn't like super experienced like his friend Darius. Darius was the experienced one. He was the one that was player type, and he's like, yeah, I'm kicking it with Chloe, and we're cool. But he's he was like, you know, because he's gonna be in college soon, so it's like, and they was showing it when he should like, I think it might have been graduation or something like that and he wanted to know how her day was. And Darius was laughing like, if you can't even take, you know, a day without her, what are you gonna do when you go to college? Um, so I think it was just a difference between like how some guys are. Oh, and the vulnerability that I think Justin gets his um emotion from his dad because you saw how his dad did cry like, oh, you're going to be the first in my family to go to college. And so I think they definitely showed that black men can be vulnerable and cry, and it's okay to be deeply in love. I do think he was too deep though. Justin was too deep because he was using her as a distraction. But I don't think he even really knew that was what was happening, you know.
Right.
And Keisha's dad pointed it out, and like every scene, there was no dull moment.
I also,
That's the best thing.
I also like that the mother let him take a mental health day. Like when he was getting into it with his little brother in the car over just a seat, like where to sit, she was like, okay, look, take a break, go have a day, like a mental health day. That's important. That's been pushed a lot more in the generation after us. I think we was trying to spark the conversation, but pass the baton to the next, and they really sparked that mental health day, which is important. And I like how they push that, no matter, it shows like no matter the house, whatever the neighborhood, everybody has their issues, and that you have to, it takes a day, one day at a time, one moment at a time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't even know if I have a favorite scene because all the scenes where they were just laughing and joking, I loved. But all the drama scenes, I loved when Keisha's dad was like, sort of
Oh,
not
that was intense.
integrating him. Wait, it's segregate. You know the word I'm trying to say. He, at the party, and everybody
Yeah.
was like, "Stop him!" And he was kind of like nervous. He didn't know what to do. But I think his dad was the dad was serious, but he was also joking at the same time. Like that's just how he is. But I think
Yeah.
he was serious
He
and not
wanted
so
him to go
serious.
toe to toe with him, but he was really like battling of who he was for
Yeah.
real. So it was like awkward, and everybody knew it. But I liked how like the cousins was like, okay, and that's enough, and there's the door. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that's
really,
lit.
everybody was big in this, no dull moment. And I think they're going to dive more into every character, next go around, next season. I think they could take this to maybe 4 seasons
They
because
could keep going. Like if Grey's Anatomy can go 80 seasons, I think we just need to try and keep these
I
shows
think,
going.
I think,
I know it's hard, but I think
what,
I don't know.
what the creator said was, um, she does believe that this can go on. and starting into the pandemic
I know. Oh
because
yeah, that's what's been stressing me out. I'm like, and then they go year by year because I was like, oh, how long are we about to do year after two episodes? It was like, oh, the summer, the fall. I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna be stressed all
I don't
second
think they're gonna
season.
skip it. They're gonna do the pandemic, yeah, for sure. They're gonna do it.
Goodness.
They're not gonna go
But
from.
did oh go ahead.
Oh, you can go.
Did you think that the parents, Justin's parents had like a common understanding of how they should like address them? Because it felt like they weren't really stepping the same tune in front of him. And I don't know if you think that's a good thing or bad thing when it comes to raising kids,
I
but
think
I felt like it was conflicting and it was hard to. But they both had good points, but it was like, should they have talked behind closed doors and then been like, look, this is how we should do it? Or does it matter? Do you want to hear each points? Because usually we do hear like a unified front, like listen to your mother, listen to your father, but more you heard both points. So I think it was a different take. What do you think?
I think what I noticed that the father was, more laid back and cool. He was direct in teaching lessons, but he was, like, hey, you want him to man up, right? But I think what I noticed is they respected each other, but they also had their own opinions about Justin. But I noticed they did more arguing behind closed doors, but you didn't see them arguing. It was like Justin could hear them. Like, you know how someone's talking and he's like peeping through, like what they're saying. And like sometimes he was in his room and you could hear them yelling, but they never really, you know, they was always like telling their opinions, but they never really exploded in front of their children. And I think that's good because, like, I think seeing your parents fight is worse than hearing it. I think they heard it, but I don't think they saw it. But I think it was like more so behind closed doors. But
And I think the sports they played kind of, and people like to include hip hop as a sport. Um, so we could throw that in the mix, but I feel like the little brother was into baseball, and feel like the sports kind of tell you what kind of person somebody is. Like, I could be wrong, but I feel like the brother was more like laid back as well, just like the dad. He was very humorous. Um, but I feel like that game is more patient. It's a long mental game. Um, I don't know. But in like basketball is more kind of like you gotta think on your feet quick, which hip hop is like that too, but it can be more complex too than that, just like basketball. What do you think?
oh yeah, that's a good take. Baseball, it is more slower. And basketball is definitely fast because like when you're playing basketball, you're playing like both defense and offense, whereas, baseball, it's like when you're, in the dugout, you're on offense and you're trying to hit the ball, and then you switch to, you know, defense outfield where, you're on base trying to get them out or something like that. So it is more slower and you can concentrate on one thing. But
Oh, and real quick, I noticed his number is 42, and I think that was like paying homage to Jackie Robinson's number too.
oh, okay, that's a good catch. Cause okay, a lot of catches with the sports. Okay, the sports, yeah, that's a good take on the sports and good take on 42. I didn't even notice that. Oh, good, good. And you notice colors too. So I think all the directors and writers did awesome. How did you like seeing LA? Because I know you're living out in LA.
Yeah.
So like they shot in LA. So did you like seeing the palm trees and different places?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of spots where I was like, hey. And some spots I'm like, wait, where that at? I gotta go check that out. Um, And I like that. I like seeing stuff like that. And I was like, where should we getting her hair done at? Her hair braiding at. I think those are like real spots that she's like, take me to Tammy's. I think that was the name. I liked seeing those shots. Oh, when they were breaking up at the end and it was showing shots of LA, it's like, I guess you wanna know where I've been. It's like slow shots. I'm like, oh, I remember when I be driving back from work, it'd be late at night, and it is just like that. You see the lights, ain't no traffic, you just true. Oh, but then they was heartbroken and they get it. They both understand. They got us part with oh. It was kind of like that movie, Somebody Help Me or something like that. I forgot, but it's with the guy from Get Out and the girl from something else. RuPaul's in it
Hmm.
too. Anyway, it's
Hmm.
about this couple and they like um he was also in that Issa Rae film and him and her were in love. I forgot his name. He's a really good actor. But they were in
Oh,
love
I
and then
think I know.
they had to separate. It's another good take. Go watch that. I got the movie wrong, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Really
I
good.
think I know what you're talking about. That movie's on Netflix, I think.
One
And
of my favorite movies.
he's in
It's
a lot of
hilarious.
he's in a lot of films.
Photograph. That's what it was with Issa Rae. It was called Photograph. But but yeah, that was dope shots of LA, beautiful shots. Probably one of my favorite shots seeing that. They captured it perfectly. One of my shots that I was mad at was when Christian and Keisha was talking at the side, and I'm just like, but I liked how the mom was like catching it. I'm like, is she catching on or not? But she was, and you just gotta stay privy, and I like that. But yeah, I was like, what is he saying to her? And I liked how the next episode it shows you like what they talked about. So I like how
Oh yeah.
they bring you in a different perspective. So yeah.
Yeah, they definitely make you it, every after every episode it makes you want to just click on it again, Um, because you want to see what happens. But
Oh, and one of the shots was like Pinky's. I think she was near Pinky's, which is a famous hot dog place out here. Definitely, if you're ever in LA, go check that out because they have, especially if you're into like nostalgia and want to see some like they got photos of like celebrities that's been there and they signed them. And it's all packed with photos in there. But anybody you could think of has been up in there. And it's just this little quaint spot. You know, if you got anxiety, I don't know if you should be in there like that. But other than that, it's really good. I mean, it's hot dogs. Okay, it's hot dogs. I'm not gonna compare it to like a Chicago dog. Like you can't compare that. Okay, I'm not gonna say that, but it is a good hot dog spot. Didn't mean to go. All right.
but uh, before we go, did you like a lot of the music choices? Because I think all the music choices that they had was really great.
They had Janelle Monáe. I love their
Tyler Creator,
music. Tyler, the
her,
creator. I saw him in
HER.
concert, so it just hit.
Oh,
They had Lucky Day in there. I'm like, who was in charge of this soundtrack? Because we need to find that person
mm,
and give them an award because it was, yeah, remarkable.
yeah,
Great film scoring.
yeah. The music was banging. The shots was fire. Go watch it. Go tell a friend to tell a friend.
You will
Thank you.
cry. You will be mad at everybody at some point.
Yeah,
Somebody's gonna make you mad. Everybody at that point.
yeah,
Except the
you're gonna.
grandpa. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, but I liked I think it's Dawn's brother, and he was like, you know they about to have sex.
Oh yeah, that's funny. He was
It was
funny, and
funny.
he kept it
Comedic
real
relief.
too.
Yes, yes.
He
He
was
said,
like
you're
the
not about to be in the
NBA.
NBA. That
Like
was a funny
seriously,
time. He was like, you're about to try it. Because he, like you said, you have to be training hard. You got to live and breathe that. That's not something like
exactly.
that's a work 9 to 5, like Monday through Friday. And on the weekends, you're
He
off.
was
He
treating
was
it like it's a hobby.
That's why I like when dudes said when they were in the studio and he was like, "Is this a?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I like doing it on my phone." He's like, "Oh, so it's just a hobby?" Because he did kind of make it nonchalant, which is a lot of times what people do, especially if they're passionate about something, but they don't feel confident in themselves or in what they do. They tend to like shun it off. That's why the producer kind of had to ask him that question because he was like, "Oh, you just think of this as a hobby." So people are only going to take it as serious as you do. Is the lesson in that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't know exactly what he wanted, but like you said, other than the girl, like he did seem, you know, in his space, when music was playing. But thank you guys for watching this long and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure you go to Road to William. Make sure you go follow my cousin.
Hmm.
Where should they follow you at?
Road to William. I'm on TikTok. I stay reposting. I be finding gems in these videos. I don't know where they come from. They just appear and I repost the greatest. But no, I be on Instagram. All that Road to William. Road to William. You can also follow me on C Kid Forever on Instagram. I'm dropping music. I'm gonna drop a project in May, so stay tuned for that. So
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Support my multi-talented cousin, Road to William. Let's go. And thanks for joining me. And yo, forever. I think it's gonna last forever, y'all.
Oh, and that chain, he got her upgraded chain.
Oh
And that's
yeah,
the thing too,
infinity.
like you don't have to get the boom bot off rip, but it's the sentiment behind it.
Right, right,
That's
right.
why like Christian was like, "Oh, I could give you the perks, but you damaged my reputation. How much that costs?"
Yeah,
And
it
that's
was
only until
over.
you feel like so then there's a limit to it. Cause at some point maybe he's gonna cap it like, okay, I helped you enough. I'm like, well, people cause
Right.
people just like forever, people are forever gonna have that in their head because you
Oh
put
yeah,
it out
that's
out of
good. Yeah,
ego.
yeah.
Because I'm like, please don't tell me it was out of a bet, a ego. Just like thin line between love and hate. He was like, I'm gonna tell her I love her, all for a bet. Okay. And you fell out that
Man,
window for a bet.
yeah. But yeah, we need more shows like this, y'all, where everything is
Yes.
just tens, 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 writing, the music, the dialogue, the
Yeah.
casting, the directing, the acting. Everything was just on point.
I
And
love their house too, Justin's house. That was lit.
oh
Especially
yeah,
when they were
yeah, yeah.
sitting in the kitchen, the dining. I don't know what area that was in. I was like, yeah,
Yep.
dope house.
That was a nice house, yeah. The swimming pool.
Oh, and a good important point of like consent, even when you're in relationships, just because you're married, just because you've solidified something doesn't mean you have a say, automatic say. Like when they were in that pool and she was like, stop. And he thought like, oh, you was just playing. But he kind of forgot that rule. His dad had said like, even if they hesitate, that wasn't just to get the girl. It was like even when you're building that relationship with them. So it was
True,
a good
true, true.
lesson too.
Yeah, the father was dropping gems when even Keisha's dad was dropping gems like yeah, he may not mean to get you pregnant. you know, and she remembered that like Justin, you're lost. Figure it out. And it's this close to the finish line too, graduation and stuff. But yeah.
The parents were learning too that they don't they're continuing to learn as well. Just because they got them to a certain extent, it's now their time to like let them be who they're supposed to be. You can only give them so much because now they have to live out their life just like y'all had to live out yours.
Yep, yep. Man, the mom. Oh man, those expressions. I love the expressions on everybody's acting, but like when Justin told his mom about now going to Northwestern, and she didn't even know this is like communication. It's like when they went to that Northwestern meet up, she didn't even let him talk. You know, she didn't even let him talk. So it's like he wasn't on the same page. He wasn't on the same page, and I think that's why they was it was kind of like tension in the relationship versus Justin and the dad. It was like more so cool, but
Right.
um, I think maybe their relationship will get better once Justin figures out,
Yeah.
what's the plan and stuff. Because I think
He just
they
has to
mainly wanted a
continue
plan,
building confidence
right?
because he's still relying on this, like, am I doing it right kind of feel. But you have to
That
break away from that because that's like a bad thing to cling on.
one last thing. Is there a character that you related to? I related to Justin because, you know, he didn't know what he wanted to do. Sometimes I'm like, what's my purpose in life? But I think I'm slowly figuring it out. And some people, it's like some people are like Keisha, where it's like, you know what you want, you're going to go for it. And then there's some people are like Justin, where you got to figure it out. You may not figure it out at 18, maybe 22, maybe 25. But also, when, so he was like, you know, he, he was lost, of course, but also, even when he was like, um, his world was Keisha. So when it was like, oh, I need to let you go, he still was unsure about it. Like, I need to let you go, but I'm like, I don't know, am I making the right decision about this? So he was kind of like questioning himself, and I think sometimes I question myself, and I'm like, I have the I need the confidence to go for what I want. Like Justin needed the confidence. Did you relate to
Right.
anyone?
I think as one, I relate to a lot of the characters, if not all, like even to the grandfather of just, I remember Keisha saying something about to Justin, like her dad's always been trying to prove the grandfather, look, something has come good of me pursuing my dreams, even if it doesn't look like what you want it to, or you know what I mean? And I think that all came back at the grandfather when Keisha graduated and he was just sitting there in that moment taking it in. And I think that goes to show if you let people just be who they are and live their path, that good will come of it, and you can muster the seed and it'll grow. And that was the seed, like, because now she can do what she wants to. Like, she never really specified what she wanted to do, but she knew that long as she was somewhere that she could focus and humble whatever craft, like, she can pursue anything. But I'm glad
Hmm.
she kind of spoke her piece, you know, the honest truth. That's what got them to their truest path because they were honest.
Yeah. And also, you make a good point with the grandfather and the dad. Um, so the thing is, we need they might dive, maybe they'll dive more into it because they even had a run in a little bit at the party. Like, grandfather was like,
I thought they was
the
about to
father was,
fight. I was like,
he was like, are you just living life or something like that? They was going, they might have went head to head at the party. So we might learn more about their relationship. Because sometimes when it doesn't happen, when things don't happen your way, how will you respond? But yeah, thanks, Cuzzo, for joining me. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Go to Road to William and go to Netflix and watch Forever. Support this. Make it the number one show on Netflix. Make it
yeah. It's
Stream it.
positive black show,
Yeah, exactly.
positive show, but black
Yes,
people are in it,
exactly.
so we gotta say it because it's important.
And remember to stay ballin' forever, ever, 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 ever. Stay ballin', y'all.
Peace.